And we are back. Bryan Broaddus. Hey,
Voch,
man.
you're gonna lie to me right off the jump today?
I'm straight. You're
gonna lie to me right off the jump.
I'm straight, man. I got questions, but I'm good to go, Bryan Broaddus. You know what I'm saying? Jerry Jones doing a fantastic job of being a GM.
Oh, Voch, don't do that to me. You know what? You know the battles I fight.
Hey, man, we got stuff to talk about. Jerry Jones being great, man.
Oh, how about that?
Before we get into that, this thing that I got set up for, Dalvin Cook is being talked to. He's being investigated. They're doing background checks and making sure his heart and his lungs working good. So that's a conversation for later. But Ceedee Lamb got done. Ceedee Lamb finally got done. And I feel like the number that Lamb got done at was a number that we've been talking about for a long time. I feel like, everybody knew, and it's me talking about Jerry Jones right now and all the characters that's, associated with him. We've been knowing this number for a long time. Now, I don't think Ceedee Lamb needs to do as much as, Jalen Tolbert or something like that to go out there and prove himself. But something I would have loved Ceedee Lamb to do is when we're practicing against the Rams or something like that, I would have loved him to just compete with those guys a little bit. I would have loved for him to, Trey Diggs is back. Well, let's go put Lamb over there, put some one-on-ones on him, right? I know he's going to be in shape. I'm sure he's been at Dak's house over in Dak's fantastic yard, catching passes.
The Dak yard, like the Dak yard.
Do you think Ceedee Lamb will be ready? Because there's a part of me that feels like I would have loved for this deal to be done a while ago just to make sure Lamb is at practice being conditioned. I know he's in shape. He's in much better shape than me. But is he in shape amongst his peers to go play ball, Bryan?
Not going to bet against that kid. I'm not going to do it. He's the one guy that if I give a contract extension to, I know he's going to live up to that contract. So, yeah. He'll be ready to play. The fact of the matter was it wasn't signed during, it's close to being, game week and all that. They'll have some practices. They'll be able to run some routes. He's been following the progress on his iPad. So he understands the installations. He went through some of these things. He and Dak, you mentioned that they work together. They threw all these balls together. The thing that you would worry about is the conditioning part of things. But Ceedee Lamb is one of those guys that's proven that he could run all day. He is a run all day guy. And so I am not going to bet against this kid. I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to feel some pressure. But you know what? He should feel some pressure. But he's one of the top wide receivers in the National Football League. Him and that quarterback have a really good rapport. I anticipate when we start this season against the Cleveland Browns, number 88, number 4 are going to find a way to get the ball and make these things work. So I am not worried one bit about this guy.
If this was last year, I would probably be a little more upset, because they were trying to transition out of the whole Kellen Moore situation into the Mike McCarthy thing. Right. But, what we noticed last year is that they kind of had this lull for like 7 weeks and, the Niners come out there and beat the hell out of us and we had to do something, right? From that point on, I feel like the offense was going in a better direction. And now they have that to build on this year.
Right.
Last year they didn't have nothing to build on. It was just brand new. So I kind of feel like if there was this building block to build off of, it would be from last year going into this year. So I do feel better about Lamb. I wanted to ask you that because people on the internet they were kind of worried about it. Well, Ceedee Lamb ain't gonna know the plays, Voch. Yeah, Ceedee Lamb's gonna know the plays. Chuma Doga don't know the plays, but Ceedee Lamb is gonna very much so be good to go. But let me ask you this though, Bryan.
Well, can I say something real quick on this one then?
Please, por favor.
I had a bigger problem with Micah Parsons not being at OTAs than I had with this one. Because new defense, new defensive coordinator, even though it's walk-through schoolyard football, even though it was all that, there are guys on that defense that are learning along the way. And Micah Parsons wrestling sumo dudes in Tokyo, Japan didn't help me get ready for, but here we are, training camp. Micah Parsons, excited about working with Mike Zimmer. I had more of a problem, and it has nothing to do with leadership or any of that crap that we talk about. I had more problems with him saying, hey, new coordinator, F you. I don't care. I'm going to be in Tokyo. I'm going to be in Philadelphia courtside. I'm going to be at 1,000 other places other than being here and learning this defense. Yeah. That I had a problem with. but, and people are going to, oh, Broaddus, you're full of shit. Here you are, you're going after Micah Parsons. No, I'm not going after Micah Parsons. But if this was a brand new offense, I would go after Ceedee Lamb. I do the same thing. If it wasn't important enough for you to be a part of it, then I think that he will be fine. Just like now I realize Micah Parsons fine. He went through training camp. He sees it. He knows it. He's excited about Mike Zimmer. He's excited to be in the scheme. We're good. We're good. But at that time, I had a problem with it.
Sure.
I had a problem. If you want to be a leader, I just said it. Hey, that's a whole nother story. But you said, I don't care enough about defense to want to come in and learn it.
Sure.
Until training camp. That was my 2 cents on that.
And Bryan, that's something that I always give Dak like credit for. Like when he was in his last holdout, like he was holding out for his contract or whatever, but he was at practice. He was right there. He was like, hey, I would love some new money, but like my people need me. I need to be right here. So shouts out to him for that. But he saw Ben DiNucci throwing the ball. He knew better. Please, Bryan Broaddus. Do you think how Jerry Jones, the great GM Jerry Jones, right? GM. Do you think how he handles his contract situations? Do you think that's going to make somebody like Micah Parsons or somebody like Tyler Smith go, man, I ain't trying to deal with all this public slander. I ain't trying to. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to come out and be like Zeke who when, TJ Bass have a good play. Oh, Tyler who? We ain't paying Tyler Smith. TJ Bass going crazy over there. Do you think that some of the up and coming all pro young guys like DeRon Bland, whenever it's their time, do you think that they're watching this and this is gonna shade how they look at Jerry Jones?
The thing that can maybe change what people see in the Dallas Cowboys front office when it comes to contract negotiations is if they don't pay Dak. If they just say, you know what, we're moving on. We're not gonna pay Dak. We're gonna reset this. We're gonna Trey Lance. I'm just throwing names. I mean, we're gonna reset this thing and try and be a little different here. That's if I'm one of the up and coming players for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not interested in starting my negotiations anytime soon. And I mean that in a way that they'll take it to the bitter end. Ceedee Lamb held out and got what he wanted. Dallas was at 32.5,
sure.
Ceedee at 34, $1.5 million difference. I'd heard the numbers were close or they'd agreed on the numbers or that's kind of where they were at. The structure was going to be the problem. If I'm Tyler Smith, Micah Parsons, any one of those guys, I'm taking my time.
Yeah.
Patience will win. Patience will win the day here until the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, what did they do? They gave a huge signing bonus to a wide receiver. To hopefully lower the cap number and do what they need to do. I don't know anything about numbers. I'm sorry. Somebody will say it. Somebody will break it down. Somebody will tell me all what happened. And I'm like, oh, great. That's fine. 4-year deal. Yeah, 4-year deal. Yeah. But it's on, he's got his 5th year option that they're working on right now. So it's really kind of a 5-year deal is what we're looking at here.
Sure.
And so that's good. But if I'm one of these guys that my contract's about to be up, I'll talk to you when it gets time to get done. Because I'm not interested in, because you feel like the longer you wait, these guys are getting what they're getting what they wanted.
Yeah.
Ceedee Lamb, he held out. He wanted 34. He got 34. Dallas was at 32.5. Okay. They came up $1.5 million. The guy with the Vikings, his contract guarantee is 110.
Yeah.
CD's is 100.
Yeah.
$10 million. That's pretty good.
Mm.
Ceedee at 32.5 could have been the second highest paid receiver in the league.
Yeah.
He could have been, and it'd been boom, let's sign it, let's go. There's a side of me, and I know somebody's listening to this over there at the Cowboys, and they're going to hate me for saying this. I personally would have seen how much his resolve really is.
Sure.
I would have carried this thing. I'm like 32.5, that's my best offer. 32, you want to miss an opportunity that still makes you the second highest paid receiver in the league. And he could have said, no, I don't think so. I would have been interested to see him sitting out over $1.5 million and him sitting out for a game check of $1 million a game. That to me, that would have been, if Dallas really wanted to be hard asses, They couldn't have they wouldn't have budged. They just sit there and say 32.5 is our best offer. That makes you the second highest paid guy.
Man, Brian, why the hell would you play a game of chicken with your all-pro number one receiver? And we playing a damn number one defense in Cleveland week 1. Yeah. Why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Because some point in time, I'm going to have to draw a line in the sand.
Sure.
Because right now, agents know what's happening. Let's go back. We can go back to Zeke. We can go back to Martin.
Yeah.
We can go back to
Lawrence.
Yeah. We can go back to Ceedee Lamb now. There's a group. And Dallas is okay with this. They're okay paying, they're okay. I mean, initially, they're not okay with it. They're like, no. The Dak Prescott deal might be the one time they draw the line in the sand. That might be the one time. And everybody will probably go, there'll be half the country or half the world will go, wow, look at Dallas, way to go. And then their half will go, you bunch of idiots. You saw what it's like when you're playing with Chad Hutchinson and Drew Henson and Wright, Anthony Wright, and those guys. You saw what that was like. That was not good football.
Yeah.
But if I'm one of these to your question, if I'm one of these guys that contract's coming up, I'm in no hurry.
Brian, let me ask you this: as a front office guy, and you ain't got to lie when you say this. You'll never do that. But I'm just saying, Brian, as a front office guy, right? Give or take, right? Just don't even tell me exactly what happened because it just sounds way too secretive, and I don't even want to know the real answer, right? But how many teams do you think go, man, I'm not about to pay Kirk Cousins, Arch Manning coming out in that same amount of time? Kirk contract gonna go out. We gonna be trash for a year. I'm gonna go get Arch, generational talent. Arch Manning. Oh, I know Trevor Lawrence is coming. I'm not gonna sign old man Phillip Rivers to the Jacksonville. I'm gonna just be trash and go get Trevor. How often do you think that happens, Brian?
My experience of 13 years in the league, I never remember ever being in a meeting where we talked about we're not going to do something because of what was coming up in the draft. I never in the third, and I was part of the Packer organization. We never ever talked about, well, let's not do this because this guy's coming up in the draft. Philly, we didn't do that in Philly the year I was there. We just drafted and Mike Lombardi and I didn't get a chance to even kind of do that. After the draft was over, they moved on from us. Yeah. And then Jacksonville, Coughlin, Tom ran the operation there. He was essentially the general manager of the team. And he never mentioned about the draft. The Cowboys, no, it was never. Yeah, I don't know. Voch, to answer your question, the experience I had, that never happened. Last time I was in one of those chairs was 2005. We might be thinking about it now of, these quarterbacks coming out. We need a quarterback. Well, should we wait? And no, unless you've got a bridge guy. And this is what can happen in 2025, that maybe you determine that Trey Lance could be a bridge guy to a quarterback, or Trey Lance could turn out to be something that you can win games with, that he figures out I don't know. We'll see if he can read defenses better, or see the players better, or see the field better, or get a better grip on the ball, or his mechanics can improve. But I will say this though, when I was doing this, teams never gave up on quarterbacks. I mean, seriously, I think I'd still be in the league. Well, I take that back. I fought with Parcells again too much. There in the early 2000s, teams were not willing to give you a chance to get a quarterback. You can now go get a Hall of Fame quarterback. You can go get Tom Brady, one of the greatest ever to play. You can go get Aaron Rodgers. You could go get Matthew Stafford. You could go get a quarterback. You saw what I went through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, not that we were any good at. We stunk. Yeah. This whole thing with Jerry Jones, he was a bad general manager when we were working together. Bad general manager because we made him a bad general manager. Yeah. Now it's a little bit different. You can go get Kirk Cousins. You can go get Aaron Rodgers, as I mentioned. So it's a little bit easier and a little bit more palatable to give up on your quarterback because you know you can go get another one. You don't have to wait till a draft. You could say, wow, we can get this guy as a bridge. Baker Mayfield, bridge to the next guy. Bridge to Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield. That's what you're probably looking at right now.
I think that's something fans always say, Brian. They'll look and be like, man, let me go ahead and keep this quarterback because Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis coming out. So let me just hold on to my guys, right? But then they'll go, this class is and even Cowboy fans now. There's probably Cowboy fans now looking at the running back class next year, like, hey man, we know something's about to happen at this You know what I mean? So, I just thought it was interesting to ask because I never asked you personally.
Yeah, I appreciate the question because sure. I never was in a position where somebody said, I remember the college scouts saying, man, this is going to be a pretty deep draft for running backs this year or deep draft for wide receivers. And we'd always make a note. Okay. Yeah. And then we'd see it and then we wouldn't draft one, I mean,
Yeah, happened last year with us, running back and wide receiver. Happened last year with us. But man, Brian, speaking of running back, man, I'm just minding my business, man. Bryan Broaddus say we going live at 8 whatever time it was, and I get this bing on my phone. Apparently, I missed it, but Will still text me and say, "Hey man, we can talk about Dalvin Cook tomorrow." I'm like, "Why are we talking about Dalvin Cook?" Yeah. I go on the social medias. Apparently, he doing physicals and talking to people, and he's visiting. Yeah. Brian, I feel like Malik Davis could do a little more than than Dalvin Cook. Look, the rapper. I know what
is Malik Davis not looking bad on that 53?
I know what I've said about Malik Davis the past couple of days, but that was only in context of Deuce Vaughn, right?
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook wasn't good at his last 2 stops, Baltimore and the Jets. Yeah. Brian, what does Dalvin Cook on cut day? Brian, on the first wave of cuts, what does Dalvin Cook mean? What does bring him in for a visit mean to the Cowboys' overall view of running back right now?
I think to me, I take it as a positive sign. And hear me out. I see it as a positive sign that they're not going to sit pat at running back. That maybe, let's see if Dalvin Cook is healthy. Let's look at that, like what they did with Linville Joseph, like they've done with Carl Lawson. They're not done. They're not done. I don't think they're done on their defensive line. I've said that before. I mentioned tackle. I think they're going to look at their ends. Yeah. I think they're maybe looking at that as well. I think you're going to see some guys probably work out there that we're not going to hear about, but maybe that'll come around. Maybe we'll know about that tomorrow. Sure. But I think with Dalvin Cook, it tells me that that it might be Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, and Deuce Vaughn. That maybe we need to get better there. Is Dalvin Cook better? Probably not. That's kicking the tires. Let's see. Let's see what kind of shape he's in. Does he look quick? Does he look explosive? Does he look like Zeke? If he looks like Zeke, it's no good to us. We've got to do different. But the fact that they're even looking at running backs tells me that they're not completely satisfied. This team could have just sat there and sat on their hands and said, we're not doing any of this stuff. We're not looking at guys. But they're going to continue. We're going to get a list tomorrow of guys they worked out, I bet. And Dalvin Cook's going to be part of that. And there are going to be probably some other positions there too. But the fact that they're staying aggressively, maybe we'll see what the cuts bring. Maybe we'll be in a position where they look at as a running back like the Jets, the Anabanakanda, the kid that everybody's kind of talking about that, could you offer a pick? Are they shopping him? What's the situation? Sure. Maybe they, that if they brought somebody in like that, I think we would all be happy.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm taking it at the fact that they're kicking tires at position of players gives me hope that they're going to go and get the right guy, that they're not just going to stand pat with the ones they have. Man, you don't buy that one bit, do you?
Man, Brian, this my thing. And I'm like,
you don't buy it. You don't buy it.
I can appreciate that they're looking at running backs.
Just don't sign this guy is what you're telling me, right?
I don't want to look at no mediocre people. We already.
I understand. Yeah. I understand. And maybe you're doing an agent a favor.
Sure.
But the fact that they feel like they have to bring in a running back to look at, that does my heart good. That maybe they're like, okay, maybe this group is not good enough, and maybe there'll be somebody there that is better than who they're playing with right now.
Man, I hope we doing the agent a favor, man, because I never want to, I don't want to distrust myself so much that I go, oh, that dude ain't beating Zeke or Malik Davis in this conference. And man, Hunter Lipke makes this real weird, Brian, because what if it's a situation? What if they do what I say, right? And Lipke is your fourth tight end, but they do carry 4 running backs.
Yeah.
And maybe they're making this a Cook versus Freeman type situation, right? That's what I'm trying to say about grand scheme of running back. I know what Dalvin Cook is. And look, man, you know how when I used to come on here and be like, I was excited about Mozzie, and you would tear all that shit down. Like, man, Mozzie wasn't good today. That's how I feel about Dalvin Cook today.
Sure.
It's a lot of Cowboy fans that know the name.
Yeah.
Cooks hadn't done nothing. Zeke was better than Cooks last year, and I've been poo-pooing on Zeke for a while now. Just me looking at the film, and I'm even asking other people. I'm like, man, Will Steele, man, man, this dude ain't da-da-da. And we all can agree that Rico's still the best running back out of that group.
No question.
I just don't want it to be a situation, Brian, to where somebody gets misevaluated. I would love to ask you about misevaluations, and we go, all right, 42, beat it. We're going to keep Zeke, and we're going to keep Dalvin Cook, and Rico Dowdle's going to be the guy. I would hate for that to be the case, Brian, bro.
Yeah,
and sorry. Let me just say one more thing to be clear, Brian. I'm not so dug in on Deuce Vaughn, because if we get Tyler Algier tomorrow, Deuce Vaughn can go if I get Tyler Algier tomorrow.
Right.
But Dalvin Cook ain't doing it for me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I understand. And, there might even be, with the fact that they're looking at defensive linemen, if they say they bring in some edge tomorrow to work out, say that happens. Who are they not happy with?
Sure.
Carl Lawson? Are they not happy with Carl Lawson? And there's a name that Cowboy fans are like, God, we got Carl Lawson. Yes. Here we go.
But
we
that's
got
the
Carl
same
Lawson.
situation, though. What if he's not as good as we? What
thing.
if he's not as good as we? It's the same conversation.
Same thing. Carl Lawson. What if Carl Lawson is, a guy that we saw the other day against the Chargers, and I think he needs to get in better condition. I think there were a couple times where he pass rushed, he looked well. You watch the Jet tape, I thought he was a better run defender than he was a pass rusher. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
That's kind of where he is. Folks, just don't fall in love with the name. Don't fall in love with, unless the name is something of unless you're one of those teams that doesn't have a quarterback and you go get Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with Linville Joseph and Carl Lawson and Dalvin Cook. If you think now they could help you,
Sure.
But don't feel like that it's Linville Joseph 4 years ago that was playing his ass off for Mike Zimmer. Don't feel like it's Carl Lawson rushing the passer at Cincinnati. I'm not saying that you can't, turn back the clock for some of this stuff, but it gets a little like, oh, geez, and you get your hopes way up for a player, and then you're like, well, damn, he looks. It's like what was the Bennett, the defensive tackle that we got from the Seahawks, which it was Bennett.
Martellus. No, not Martellus.
No, that's his brother. But Bennett, what I'm talking about? We bring Bennett in. What was Bennett's name?
Michael Bennett.
Bennett. We're all like, yeah, Michael Bennett. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an okay player.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, you move on. You don't, and then we're all excited because, damn, we got a 3 technique.
Yeah.
Guy gets knocked all over the damn block. And you're like going, oh, wait. Just temper your expectations. I hope I used the right word there. Temper your expectations on these players, because they're not the players that they were 3 and 4 years ago. They're players that hopefully can bridge and play well enough and be veterans that could help you. Like I say, we might hear names of edge rushers and stuff. I mean, they're bringing guys in to work out. That part of me is excited because they're still trying to help their roster.
Brian, where I come from, back in my old neighborhood, just people that, just whatever, we call that living off old bodies. That's what that's called. That's called living off old bodies. Man, you want credit and you want to maintain your reputation off of your old work. Sir, we know who you really are. But you said something very interesting that just piqued something in my brain, Brian, bro. You was like, can they help you? At the end of the day, can they help you? I do think Dalvin Cook could be a help at some point. The timing of this is weird because this is roster cuts, right? This is in the middle. Right. This is in the middle of I'm nervous about Deuce Vaughn season, right? But I do feel like if we have like a veteran practice squad spot guy that we kind of elevate a little bit, I would love for that to be Dalvin Cook. Because I tell you why, Bryan Broaddus. Because at the end of the day, Zeke is still old guy and Rico Dowdle is still hurt guy.
Right.
So I would love to have Dalvin Cook just hanging around somewhere to be acquired and pulled up at some point. I just don't want Dalvin Cook to get in the way of what Rico or what Deuce are doing.
It might if it cost you a spot, and there's people that will think, there's people that love Deuce Vaughn, and there's people that are like, it's too short. There's teams. Would teams claim, and we're guilty of this all the time. Remember what we try and preach to people. Mm-hmm. Hey, teams love their players.
Rico Gathers, boy. Rico Gathers and Andy Jones.
Yeah. They love their players.
Yeah.
Dallas has had a couple of a quarterback. They got claimed 1 year. They got Ridgeway claimed 1 year. Mm-hmm. They got this defensive end claimed last year. Yeah. It generally 85% of the time you get all your guys back that you put out there. Yeah. Todd Williams used to walk into the room. We got them all back. We got them all signed to the practice squad. We'll be fine. Okay, thanks, Todd.
Can I give you small pushback, Brian? What if that's not the case anymore?
Oh no,
because we've gotten better at acquiring undrafted free agents and late round talent. See, if your practice squad was once comprised of not good day 3 guys, of course you got them all back. They're not good day 3 guys, but our day 3 guys and undrafted guys nowadays play, or they have upside potential. You know what I'm saying? So now somebody gonna go get Deuce Vaughn as Brian. If he's out there, what he did in the preseason, I know he's small, but like I said yesterday, it only take one, man. It only takes.
No, I could fully, I could say it. But I just want to let you in our audience know that every time we anguish about these roster cuts, and I hate losing guys, especially if you put somebody out there, if you're trying to be cute, and like play a game and be cute, and the guy gets claimed, you get what you deserve. Yeah. If you really like a guy, roster manipulate, cut Sieg, cut the punter, cut Goodwin, play some gymnastics with the roster that way so you can keep guys around. Yeah. Until you can kind of figure out what you have to do. So I understand the love for Deuce Vaughn. I get it. He looks like a different player. Sure. I am sad. But he and Ryan Flournoy made up a lot of ground, because to me, Ryan Flournoy was looking like practice squad guy standing over there with the cords with me and Britt Brown. Yeah. And Deuce Vaughn looked like, oh, here's practice squad guy. Here's Deuce. All these things they talked about doing with Deuce. We ain't seeing any of that anymore. Those guys made up a ton of ground. Like Cropper, that's Cropper's job. Billy Johnson's got a spot. Flournoy's like, not so fast, boys. Here I come. Flournoy said, all you guys that think you're the 6th receiver, you ain't the 6th receiver here today. Yeah. So give those guys credit, Deuce, Flournoy, for stepping up and making up a ton of ground in a really short period of time. Man, Bryan Broaddus, boy,
But that damn practice squad ain't that big, you know what I'm saying? You only got a couple of spots on that thing, man. And, you know, we got a whole nother round of cuts, Bryan Broaddus. I don't know what we going to do unless the league mandates some new practice squad spots, man. Everybody ain't going to make it, Bryan. I'm just looking at this list right here.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them clearly not coming back. You know, I don't think, you know, Cam Johnson comes back.
Yeah.
I don't think Cole Cabral. He just got he just got here last week. He ain't come here.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, which one of these characters you think are eligible for the Cowboys practice squad? Oh, no, not even eligible, because they all could be eligible, bro. But
Sure.
which of these do you think the Cowboys have legit interest in bringing back? And it can't be Viliami. Bryan, we've been waiting on a good fight between me and you. If you look at me and say Viliami for Hoko,
no, I'm not going to do that.
We're going to fight today. But go ahead, Bryan. Which one of these?
I'm not going to do that. And my vision, I'm sorry, is as I'm looking at my computer, I can't blow this thing up.
Oh, damn. Hold on.
So if you blow it up. There we go. That's better for me. Okay. There we go. If we start at the top there, I would think that I think Burnett would be gone. I think Corbel would be gone. I think they really liked Josh DeBerry and some of the things. He made a lot of plays. Yeah. I think they did like Willie Harvey quite a bit. I thought they felt like maybe Willie Harvey, there's to me where I think Buddy Johnson was a better player than Willie Harvey. And that's why Buddy Johnson's going to make this football team.
I agree.
But I think they would like to have him back. Holler, they're going to probably carry 3 tight ends. Could he be the 4th? You know, that's debatable right there with Holler. They did like some things that he did on special teams. Cam Johnson, I mean, you got 6 wide receivers.
Yeah.
They've got some other guys that they haven't put out yet. We haven't seen some of the other names yet, but the fact that they put Cam Johnson out early, I kind of feel like that he might be in a little bit peril. Mm-hmm. Jason Johnson maybe not coming back. Pete's young legs, explosive. They used him as we always talk about the personal protector stuff. Maybe bring him back to run scout team stuff. You know, Eric Scott, I'm interested in Eric Scott just because there was the Wednesday practice. I thought he did pretty good coming out of the camp. Did he do enough overall? He did enough to where all of a sudden they trade for Booth. You know, they're looking at McQuamu, that kind of thing. So maybe want him back. He might get a guy that claimed if somebody was really, really down on corners. We'll see with his sponsors are all in at Washington right now. So they probably knew we don't have to trade for Eric Scott. We know you're going to cut him. So I think they're just going to wait and probably claim then. If you go up, this David Durden, if you could, right there, all those waived injured guys, that group right there, they're telling the league they're waived and they waived them injured. That means the league now knows that all these guys are hurt. All these guys, Durden, Fehoko, Johnson, they're going to, if they clear waivers, they're going to go to the reserve injured list. And then to get them off, what they'll do is they'll injury settle. So they'll give them a couple of game checks like David Durden, or they can keep him on the injured reserve list the whole time and just bring him back next year for 2025.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they're going to be claiming some getting game checks and getting those guys off the list.
Sure.
Huggins, Billy Johnson, Damian Wilson, all gone, all free now. They do not have to go through waivers. So that means they were terminated, mean they are free and clear. So any one of those 3 guys can sign with guys starting tomorrow is what they could do. So if they put them on the waivers today, they're done. They can sign back with anybody tomorrow. So that's kind of where that's at. If we go up, is there anything else behind that?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. So yeah, that's kind of what the rest of these guys that they're holding on to, maybe they're trying to determine here comes the roster gymnastics, or they're calling around to see if they can get anything for these guys. That's kind of where that's at right now.
So Bryan, you said something that really stuck out to me. And I love when I don't have anything written down, but you just say stuff and I love when I do that. Mm-hmm. But Bryan, you said something that stuck out to me, man. You was like, man, they released Cam Johnson kind of early, so that means that he's kind of
I think so, yeah.
when they release guys a little earlier, that means, all right, we have 0 plans for you, beat it, scram. We're going to worry about this next group of guys we have to deal with. Brian, was Eric Scott really that bad? Because I feel like
that's the one that I'm sorry, finish your question there. I've been accused of interrupting you, but go ahead.
Man, you good, man. I just feel like, very young pick still, like a draft pick. Like he was just drafted last year. And I felt like there was this upside to his game that we were just kind of waiting around for. And I thought that this year was going to be a year that he was going to kind of emerge. And if he's going to be on this early cut list, not the next cut list, but on this cut list, I imagine that this is the bad football playing list. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, man, like how you end up on the this bad playing list?
Yeah, I have a feeling that there were some things about him. I felt like that he played better this year than last. Because there were some things in OTAs where you're like going, this guy has no sponsors in the building. He's got nothing keeping him here. Nobody's going to fight for this kid. He's pushing the rock up the hill. And I thought in the OTAs, in the mini camps, he showed some promise. He got into camp. There were some good moments. There were clearly some bad moments. But to the point, you're saying the bad player list, I bet you they tried to move the kid. They couldn't get anybody to do it. Would they be hopeful that maybe he could come back to the practice squad? I think there's something to that, but I think there's maybe a couple other guys that they would like to bring back. Like I said, DeBerry. I think they would, if they had a choice, I think they would bring back DeBerry. There's the Butler is another one that you see. Yeah, 31. I think there's a couple of guys that they would try and bring back before they would, because we're going to probably see Butler and tomorrow on that list. And so I would say that those are the guys they're looking at first for this practice squad.
Man, Brian, very interesting day of transactions. Not really. We just made it work because we just good at this. But tomorrow's going to be a hell of a day because I think that's where we're going to get the first name that we don't expect to get.
Yeah. Can I do something for our listeners real quick? Can I run through my 53 real quick?
Please. Hell yeah. Go
53. And if you're a fan of the G-Bag Nation and Krusty's Corner at 340 every day, that's when I do this. I've done this for that. If you've heard it again, I'm sorry. If you don't listen to us at 105.3 The Fan, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. Here's my – and Voch, I'll let you react to anything. Just tell me to stop if you want me to stop.
Yes, sir.
Wide receiver, I kept 6. I put these guys in alphabetical order, so that's how I identify them. I got Brooks, Cooks, Flournoy, Lamb, Tolbert, Turpin.
Sounds good. Yep.
Good to go. 3 tight ends. Ferguson, Schoonmaker, Stevens. Okay. Whisper, 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 whisper. Don't know if they go 4 here. And I wonder if what they think about maybe our guy Spanford. This might be my first, I submitted my list to a good friend of mine at the team. And he says, you're close. You're close. You got some of these right. He goes, not all of them, but you got some of them right. I'm like, okay, thanks. Appreciate that. But I just wonder when he said that, who am I missing that they might like a little better? Maybe Spanford. They gave him $250,000. I don't know. They might keep him as the 4th, even though they've got Hunter Lipke, who I've got as a fullback on this list.
Who do you think is closer, Fant or Ford?
I think they would keep, because they've got to keep Hunter Lipke, I think they would keep Spanford.
Okay.
That might be where, but I'm on my list, I'm going with 3.
Okay.
Tackles. Guyton, Richards, Steele. 3 tackles. 4 guards. Ball, Bass, Martin, Tyler Smith.
Ball, Bass, Martin, Tyler Smith. So you're not keeping Waletzko. Waletzko's going.
Okay. This is where I could get kicked in the junk again.
Okay.
Because if they go 10, if they go 9, it could come out to Waletzko or Ball on a flip.
Yeah.
Is what it could.
Sure.
If they go 10, I think Waletzko's on the list. If they want to go 10, I would consider trying to add a guy claim a guy is what I would do.
Mm.
I would claim a tackle. And by the way, that practice squad we talked about, I'm not married to any of my guys. I'm going to go and try and get somebody else's guys too.
Yeah.
I've already seen my practice squad dudes. I'm going to go get somebody else's practice squad dudes. See if I can be better at my practice squad. I'm going to go convince somebody to be on my practice squad is what I'm going to do.
Brian, I know Solari is going to have a fit. Shepley was a little better than Hoffman last game.
We talked about that. We did. I
went back and rewatched it again. Shipley was better than
Would you keep Shipley over Hoffman then?
I can't confidently do that because Hoffman's played in real games, and I feel like I can trust him consistently a little more. But Shipley most definitely had a better game last week than
Shipley could play the guard and the center.
You sure can.
So maybe the versatility that might be. Boy, how about Hoffman going from love of the coach to like being on the street? Quarterbacks: Lance, Prescott, Rush. Again, alphabetical order there.
Yeah.
Running backs. We talked about that 3: Dowdle, Elliott, Vaughn.
Sounds good.
Hunter Lipke.
It doesn't sound good. I'm just submitting to the idea that the Cowboys are going to roll with Elliott no matter what, for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Lipke is the fullback. That gives me 25 offensive players.
Okay.
Defense, 5 edges. And I don't think they're completely happy with this group in a couple of spots. But I'm going to go with Golston, Nealon, Lawrence, Lawson, Parsons.
So you're leaving out Muhammad and Wheat.
Muhammad is suspended for week 1.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I think they're going to let Wheat go.
He's gonna be fantastic when he get back because if he on some roids, he gonna be strong as hell when he get back.
He's a good looking player. I mean, physically he's a good looking player.
Sure.
But he's suspended the first game, so I don't have to carry him.
Okay.
I can carry him. Like, remember the running back Jones last year? We carried that cat for a couple of weeks. Jones, the running back from Tampa. Then we have him for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
our guy.
Yeah, that guy from Tampa. But yeah, Jones. Yeah, Jones.
You and I can't remember shit.
I don't know, Jones. I don't know who the fuck Jones. I don't know who the hell Jones is. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Defensive tackles, Joseph. Now they might play some gymnastics with Joseph because if they don't sign him till Wednesday, they might have to. They'll keep maybe a spot. Maybe somebody like Thomas. You have to carry Thomas for. Maybe you carry Thomas and then carry him and then put him on IR to sign Joseph. Maybe Joseph doesn't sign on Tuesday. Maybe he signs on Wednesday. You could play a little gymnastics there if you want.
Thomas who? Who is Thomas?
The tackle, the guard from the guard that we drafted.
Nate Thomas.
Nate Thomas.
Go.
Nate Thomas.
All
right.
So tackles.
Joseph, defensive tackles, Joseph, Osadigizua, Phillips, Mozzie Smith, 4 defensive tackles.
Is this whole, like, when you start putting your roster together, is this whole Mozzie thing kind of discouraging?
Linebackers.
You like Rodgers a little more than Mozzie, don't you?
Yeah I do. And you know what? Rodgers might be on this thing.
He should be.
Yeah. Rodgers might be on this thing. And that might be where my guy says, you're close.
Yeah.
Maybe Rodgers is on this thing, but I think Rodgers plays with some range. I think he's a big body. He looks a lot more active than Mozzie does at times.
Let me ask you this. You say that you feel like they're still looking at tackle.
Yeah.
They're not carrying 4 tackles. So if they do find a tackle, like what the hell happens with that tackle?
Which tackle, defense or offense?
Defense, for sure.
Yeah. What happens with I think they would, are you saying that they would cut Mozzie? I don't think they would cut Mozzie.
They can't cut Mozzie, but Mozzie ain't proven to be better than these other guys.
Might be inactive every week.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
Might be. I mean, that number is going to go from 4 to 5, but I think that's one where I was kind of like, I'd take Rodgers, but I know what they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Linebackers 5: Clark, Buddy Johnson, Kendricks, Leofau, Overshown. Okay, we've talked about this before, Brad Sham keeps bringing up Overshown, hip pointer, how healthy, how ready, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I believe what Brad Sham's saying there might go a little bit longer with linebacker. Who's our guy that we
Vigil?
Mm-hmm. And also keep an eye on Darius Harris.
Darius Harris, yeah. Kansas City.
Darius Harris is a damn good special teams player. So this might be it's going to maybe if they carry a sixth linebacker,
sure,
they boomerang back with Darius Harris or Nick Vigil. That's maybe where we're at there.
How about Buddy Johnson just working himself into this fold, man? How about him, man? Just
Buddy Johnson. Todd Archer was talking about him about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Put it out there like, Buddy Johnson, watch for Buddy Johnson.
Yeah.
Todd, if you ever follow Todd on Twitter, Todd doesn't tweet just meaningless stuff.
Yeah.
He'll give you a little angle where he hurt. But Buddy Johnson, you watch Buddy Johnson play. Buddy Johnson run to the ball.
Sure does.
Buddy Johnson tackle.
Yeah.
Buddy Johnson looks like a good player.
Yeah.
Okay. Corners, I went 5. Booth, Carson, Diggs, Lewis, McQuamu.
So no Hall?
No Hall.
Practice squad guy?
Hope so.
I don't think anybody to take him. I think he's a nickel corner that has some upside that we really like. Made some plays kind of tough. I don't think anybody to take him. My pet cat heart would love to keep him because I want to keep everybody, but I don't think anybody will take him from me. Hall's a good practice squad guy.
Safeties. This is where I'm going to get you.
You can't get me here.
5. Bell, Hooker, Thomas, Wilson, Wood.
Got Wood.
And I got Wood because I'm going to use him to make up for all those running backs that don't play special teams. That's my thought.
You got 5 safeties, Brian.
I do.
This ain't got nothing to do with this.
Wood might be active over Thomas if you really ask me. If it came down to it, if you needed, not that Thomas could be personal protector. We saw that you flashed the clip of the punt team that one year, San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Thomas, Wanya Thomas was a personal protector, but if you needed a space every week, how much would Wood play on all your special teams or Thomas play on all your special teams? But I got Wood on all the special teams because I think none of my running backs are going to play special teams. That's what I think.
Do you start calling teams about Donovan Wilson? Just see if anybody's interested.
Yeah, I wonder. The contract seems pretty reasonable, right?
I think his last guaranteed year is like this one or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be like no dead money next year or anything like that. I think he's a good player for you, but I think you have an abundance of safeties that look like him. Yeah. You know, Wood is a guy that can do it for you.
They might try and move. They try and move. They wouldn't move Wanya Thomas.
No.
They wouldn't do that. It's going to be. I have a feeling I'm overzealous on this one. I went 5. I have a feeling it's 4. Specialist, Anger, Aubrey, Goodwin, Sieg.
Yeah.
28.
I don't greatly disagree with anything that you've done on your list.
Cowboys do.
yeah, Cowboys, yeah, probably.
We know that they do. They automatically do.
Yeah. The only 2 players that I would probably push for, and look, I'm saying push lightly because I don't know who I would take off to add them, but Justin Rogers and Tyrus Wheat. I think both those. I mean, Wheat played a lot last year for you, so I don't know how you would get those dudes on the team, but
you could take. Did you?
Is he? Did you say his name? Is McQuamu?
I did. I said 5. Booth, Carson, okay. Diggs, Lewis, McQuamu.
Okay, cool. You need corners.
I mean, okay, as the 5, I'd lose Wood.
Yeah.
If you were in your game, I would lose Wood. That would be a guy I would take. Or, I would consider.
But this is why you can't lose Wood, because Justin Rogers 320 pounds and he can't play as many teams as Wood.
I know.
You had to leave Rogers off.
Yeah.
Cut Mozzie.
They ain't going to cut Mozzie.
They're not cutting Mozzie. They can't cut Mozzie.
I tell you what, they ain't going to cut Lawson. I don't know. I mean, they might. I just keep an eye on these edges.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the edges for sure. Ball.
Sure.
Do you think they would cut Hunter Lipke?
Man, Brian, look, man, I have the I have the same problem with Lipke that I have with Turpin and damn CJ Goodwin. Like, man, okay, you're a fullback.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy wants to use a fullback.
Right.
Are we using him enough to justify cutting somebody else? Because if we're only using Hunter Lipke as a lead blocker right now, I don't like it. I don't like it. I need to see him catch some passes. I need to see him run. I need to see him get short yards, and not fumble, get tough. But man, Hunter Lipke's, man, look, if you're gonna use him as your tough yard guy, man, what you got Zeke and Royce here for? Hey, Hunter Lipke can go. If you asking me, Lipke can go. Honestly.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
man.
That's where I would. I don't know, man. I don't think they would do anything with Flournoy.
Nah.
Would you do anything with Turpin?
Brian, the people in my comment section know I've been hating on Turpin for a long time, but Turpin doesn't give me much at wide receiver. Turpin gives you a lot of hope at wide receiver. And honestly, as a kick return guy, if you ain't Devin Hester, I feel like I could find another one of you. And I don't think Turpin is Devin. Turpin runs into the defense a whole bunch. Now, They say that they want to get Turpin involved, but that's been a whole bunch of he say, she say up to this point. And if you think about the idea that Ceedee Lamb's going to get double digit targets, Ferguson may get 9, Cooks may get 3 or 4. Tolbert got to get 1, 2, or 3.
Exactly.
Where's the room for Lipke or Turpin to really get involved in that way? Turpin may get a target every 3 games or something. I don't think that's enough.
Is Turpin even worth it to put as considering kind of the running back stuff that you might want to do?
Turpin has a shot at running back, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think the Cowboys are going to do it. And
who else did you have, by the way, too? Who was the second guy? You had
a running back?
No. Who was it? You had 2 guys. I thought you said you were guys you were asking.
Tyrus Wheat and Justin Rogers.
Wheat. Yeah, Wheat.
Wheat and Rogers. I think you're going to need edges for many reasons. Parsons is going to be moved around. Lawson is hurt guy. Nealon is a rookie, and that rookie wall thing is a real life thing. I think you just may need a couple of more edges just to make sure that you're solid there. Plus Chauncey, man, like Chauncey's playing edge, but man, Chauncey got big body. We don't know. We don't know what that edge big body gonna look like for real. I just think you could use one more, like just in like pass rush situations, And I think that's Wheat, and we play all. I think
there's some things that Muhammad did actually that were pretty good in the Chargers game that he we don't know what the Chargers. I mean, I'm not going to act like I know who their 3rd and 4th tackles are. But there were a couple times where he got off the ball pretty good. The sack, he was explosive. Wheat was on one side, Muhammad was on the other. If you had to say who looked better of the 2 in that game against 3rd and 4th offensive tackles, I'd give it to Muhammad.
Muhammad looked a little better.
I think so.
Muhammad looked a little better. Better control, better pass rush stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Grabbing the wrist, bull rushing you a little bit, speed to power.
They kicked Wheat inside some too. He played like that 3 technique, that rusher dude.
And he played teams last year. He played in last year. Like, hey man, we gonna have something to talk about. We gonna have something to talk about tomorrow, Bryan Broaddus.
No question.
Hey man, but that's an hour show, man. I didn't know we went that long, but hey, it is what it is. We went crazy today.
Yeah, we did.
Appreciate you for all your time and your patience. You working your other shows. I had to do shows too, but we all came together to get the people what they want, man. Follow me at Voch Lombardi. I'm tweeting now. Follow Bryan Broaddus at BRYN Broaddus. Love y'all to pieces, and we'll catch y'all next time. Crown.